We are back with another tier list from the Dragon Ball franchise. This time it's Dragon Ball Z characters specifically, so it'll be a lot smaller. It's not every character from the Dragon Ball Z anime, but it's quite a bit of them. Android 16, interesting, cool design, son of Dr. Giro. He has a lot going for him. They could have utilized him a lot better. Android 17, C tier, pretty garbage, nothing to his personality. He's just there to stand next to Android 18, who's probably S tier. Silent but deadly, just a complete cold hearted killer who comes around and joins the good guys. Android 19 or 20. B tier. This fella, B tier. Bobbity. Bobbity doesn't come into play enough. I feel like this android here, it's just there's so much unknowns. They just rush through Bobbity's character development. They could have done quite a bit more. We have Bardock, Goku's father. I believe that's Bardock, anyway. Underdeveloped, but top B tier. Ooh, Majin Buu's dog. I just did a video on how Hercule saved the Earth twice from Buu. He basically defeated Buu twice. He convinced Buu to move in with him. They shared a dog. They shared meals. Buu had totally stopped his rampage. Hercule had won. Like, the world was saved due to Hercule. But then someone decided to interfere. Watch my video to find out more about how Hercule defeated Buu twice and is the real hero at the end of Dragon Ball Z. They could not have defeated Buu without him. Hopefully he's on this list. His doggo. I mean, he's a good doggo. In possibly one of my favorite moments of the franchise, despite it being dark and weird. I think I'll put the dog in top of B tier, since he comes into play for such a wild and wacky moment that I don't think it's talked about enough. People dunk all over. People dunk on Hercule like crazy, but they have Beerus. I thought this was just Dragon Ball Z characters, but they have Beerus. I'll rank them because there's not that many characters on the list in total. Beerus, though, really good addition. I think S tier. He's really fits and balances the team. He kind of takes over the Vegeta role of being not that Vegeta isn't a dangerous individual, but Vegeta is like cemented on the good guys by the time Super rolls around. So it's nice to have that guy who's on that level, whose motivations are questionable. Bubbles, the pet of King Kai, gets utilized quite a bit to train the others. Kind of, we're left with a lot of questions with Bubbles as to how he's like on King Kai's planet, or like what's really going on with him and Gregory. How'd they get there? Like, were they animals on some kind of planet who who made it through like Snake Way or whatever it's called? I'll put Gregory next to his pal Bubbles. Bulma, clear S tier. Top of S. She's just critical throughout the entire franchise. The Ginyu Force. Let's populate A tier with the Ginyu Force. The Ginyu Force has distinct individual personalities. They're an excellent build up to Frieza. No complaints on the Ginyu Force. Cell, pretty bland. His first form is way cooler than any other form. He never really gets to have a personality. So as a character, it just knocks him down a peg. Yeah, he's just. I mean, at least his evolving and gaining new forms is interesting. He has to absorb androids. If it wasn't for that, he would be incredibly lower on this list. But at least they gave him that aspect that made him cool. And the fact that he's like this bug person is cool. Cell Jr. C tier. Now, I think this guy's the news anchor, reporter. I'll put him just below Majin Buu's dog. I forget Majin Buu's dog's name, but Majin Buu's dog just doesn't get talked about enough, considering it's what causes Majin Buu to continue to rampage, and all of the other events of that arc happen because of Majin Buu's dog. His love for his dog caused him to John Wick it. Chi-Chi never gets to do as much as Bulma in the series. I'll leave her bottom of A tier. Chaozu has a really cool moment in the Saiyan saga. Not really anything beyond that, though. Dabura himself, king of the underworld. I forget exactly what title they give him, but really one of the coolest design characters, just to be destroyed. I'll put him bottom of A tier. I'll put him above Chi-Chi. Dende. Dende's okay. Dodoria. Easily the most interesting of Frieza's goons beside Captain Ginyu. Dr. Brief, is that his name? Bulma's dad. Dr. Giro. I'll put him just above his son. Definitely interesting characters that should have been further developed, brought back, whatever. King Kai's rival. She's either, I think she's the opposite. I think he's like East Kai or West, and then she's West or East. She just doesn't really get to do anything. I'll put her just below Dende. Gohan's classmate, who isn't Videl or that long-haired guy. The farmer, who I think shoots somebody at the early Dragon Ball Z, or maybe he gets taken out by Majin Buu. I can't remember. Witch. Frieza. Best arc in Dragon Ball Z, probably. Epic. Yeah, I think it's fair to put Bulma ahead of Frieza. Frieza is the greatest villain, but that doesn't give Frieza's just a small part of this huge overall story, right? And there's really not that. Frieza's not that dynamic of a villain. Frieza's villainy is dynamic, but Frieza is not that dynamic of a villain. Like, he doesn't have really multiple motivations in a way. Like, he's not that complex of a person. He's more of a true villain. Otherwise, I'd put him ahead of Bulma. Bulma's a little bit more complex, a little more interesting, and does way more in the series as a whole. Trunks. You gotta love Trunks. I feel like I like him a little less than most people. I don't know if I put him above Captain Ginyu. I don't like him as much as 16 and Dr. Gero. Garlic Jr. I put Garlic Jr. about Dende level. They look very similar. I forget if Garlic Jr. is a Namekian. He probably is. The Garlic Jr. stuff is the stuff in Dragon Ball Z that like stands out in my mind the least of anything ever. Goku himself. I might put Goku above Bulma. Bulma is more so the eyes in which you watch the series, right? Like, even though she's a genius, and through her genius creates incredible things, and is the richest person on the planet, runs like the biggest company in the world, and invents new things, and she's also a human. So much of this of Dragon Ball Z is seen through her perspective in a way, right? 'Cause she's with Goku for a huge amount of stuff, and she has fear and stuff that Goku never has. So Goku's lack of complexity of character lowers him just a tiny bit. Now, granted, he has a huge variety of abilities, and it is a fighting-based show, and that alone keeps him at the top, like, no question, but I don't know if it puts him at the absolute top. Gotenks. Gotenks, I like just slightly less than Trunks. It's really cool to have the kids kind of fuse and have them be fusion experts. Like, they're the best at it, is the perception that we get, right? Like, they accomplish what Vegeta and Goku logically should never be able to. Like, they should always be better at it and have like more of a boost, right? I mean, maybe like in stuff that hasn't happened yet, right? Like, maybe you could say like Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta might finally be at the point that Gotenks is, of being so much more powerful than the two individuals themselves. That would be cool to have that kind of specific detail focused on and emphasized a little more. We got the Time Stoppy Ginyu Force guy. We got Jace. Goten. I feel like if anybody should have had a personality, it should have been Goten. And he just isn't in it enough to get that. I'll put him just below, just above Cell. We have this random like goon when Goku falls off of Snake Way. I'll put this guy with them. They're there for like one episode. We have Icarus, I believe, Gohan's dinosaur friend, who shows up in a lot of the movies. I think I'd put him right below Majin Buu's dog. We have Guru, the Elder Namekian. Creates another set of Dragon Balls, I believe, because they need a more powerful wish than they can do with the like Piccolo Dragon Balls. Like Guru's alright. He helps do unlock characters like true fighting potential. I'll put him right below the Ginyu Force. The Grand Kai. Grand Kai. I'd say A tier. Almost to Dabura level. Maybe beyond him. Maybe just below the Ginyu Force. Supreme Kai. Ultimately doesn't really do that much and doesn't become that interesting. Kibito, even worse. Kibito's like there, low B tier. Kame. Kibito Kai. I mean, they do like nothing with Kibito Kai. It's almost like they just use him to demonstrate the earring fusion. Kid Buu. Kid Buu's okay. Like, yeah. It's just a less interesting Majin Buu. Like, at least Majin Buu's fat and has more clothes. So, I mean, but at least he has Majin Buu's attacks. Yeah, I think I gotta put him below Dabura, though. Maybe. Or maybe I'd put him below the Ginyu Force. I feel like the Ginyu Force collectively probably realistically is in more episodes than Kid Buu. Frieza's dad. Really cool design. Does basically nothing. Does less than Dabura does. I'll put him bottom of A tier. Vegeta's dad. Vegeta's dad has a bit more swag, so I'll put him above Frieza's dad. King Kai. Just gives so much comic relief and information, exposition. His character existing allows other characters to communicate when they otherwise shouldn't be able to. and he helps Goku unlock some of his most powerful abilities. I think I'll put him S tier. King Kai is simply the man. Let's move some of these guys down a peg. King Yama. He's basically the opposite Deborah. They should develop him and Deborah. Maybe they must know each other, right? Like, we need way more Deborah. Do a Deborah movie and have King Yama there. Who wouldn't want that? They have to know each other. There has to be a backstory there that we've never seen, and that everyone who's watched the like Boo saga wants. Korin. I wish they gave Korin a little bit more to do. I think I got him, put him just below Kid Boo. Korin's awesome, don't get me wrong, but ultimately he just gives the other characters beans. Krillin. I think I gotta put King Kai above Beerus. I think I have to put Krillin ahead of 18. Majin Buu, the best version of Buu. I think I'll just put him right above Kid Buu. Like Majin Buu has a lot of like creative attacks, and like when Vegeta and Goku get eaten by him, that's really, really cool. It's just certain other things, like there isn't that much character development. Mirin, I think her name is. Just a total fan service character. And I think that elevates her. I'll put her with Vegeta's dad and Frieza's dad. They're all kind of fan service characters, realistically, when you think about it. Roshi. Let's just place him in S. Sort him out. I will sort him out now. I think he's got to be right below Frieza. Oh, maybe above Frieza. I mean, personally, I like him more than Goku and Bulma. But Goku and Bulma actually go out and adventure and fight things. And Roshi just doesn't get to do that in Dragon Ball Z. I know this is a picture of like Bulma from Dragon Ball in this picture, but in the Dragon Ball anime, Bulma shines a lot more than she does in Z. But and so does Roshi. I think Roshi as third is I'm comfortable with that. Popo, one of the coolest short-term trainers of Goku, which happens in the Dragon Ball anime, but Popo he keeps that sense of being really cool somehow, and I don't even know how. I think I'll put him above Majin Buu. I might even put him above the Ginyu Force. And Gotenks and Trunks. Hercule. Hercule's great. Like, I compare him a lot to King Kai, where he exists for like comic relief. Hercule though also comes into play in all kinds of moments, right? Like, he literally fights Cell. He fights Boo. He defeats Boo twice. He becomes roommates with Boo. Like, he completely stops Boo's original rampage. Like, Boo is defeated. Boo is done. Like, bad guy just completely defeated. And then he helps Goku charge the final spirit bomb to defeat Boo. Literally, they basically, Goku says that without him, he wouldn't be able to defeat Majin Buu. He wouldn't have gotten the people of Earth in the universe, because I think they talk to more than just Earth. When Hercule talks to everybody, they need Hercule to charge that spirit bomb, or it would not have defeated Buu. I think you gotta put him in S tier. He comes into play a lot, right? Like, he's the world martial arts champion throughout Dragon Ball Z, which is very important, right? Like, these world martial arts tournaments come into play repeatedly throughout the series, and he's the champion. He's like the most famous person on Earth, the most beloved person on Earth. He occupies a spot in the team, right? Like, he is a Z fighter, and that's his role, is being what he is. And within the show itself, he's this comic relief character, and another character that you see the events unfold through his eyes, through like what any of us, how we would react. You know, if anything, he's way braver than any human would react. And he kind of is one of the best fighters on the planet. Like, the only like non-Saiyan fighters who, well, realistically there's a lot, right? Like Roshi, Krillin, Yamcha, Tien, Chaozu. They're all stronger than him, but he's a tough guy. He is. He doesn't get enough credit. I think bottom of S tier is the only place you can put Hercule. Piccolo. Or no, I think that's Nail. I'll put him below Dende. Nappa. I'll put Nappa below Boo. Actually, maybe above. I'll put him with the Ginyu Force. Just like raw destruction, and he just comes in with such power. So many unanswered questions about Nappa and Raditz. They're both Saiyans. I'll put them next to each other. Nappa was always cooler. The Elder Kai. Elder Kai was cool. He's like this Kai version of Master Roshi. And I think that elevates him to bottom of A tier. Oolong. Slightly above Popo. Sorry, Popo, but Oolong is awesome. He's transforming into stuff. He's got personality for days. He's always cracking jokes. Puar, not as cool as Oolong. I think Puar deserves top of B tier. The Ox King. I'll move some of these other people down. This is not wanting me to move this guy that far down. I think Nail, I'm not going to put Nail any lower than B tier. The Ox King. Maybe I should have made one more tier of people, but that's fine. I always have a super loaded A tier. I'm a really positive kind of guy. Ox King is like the human King Yema. Big teddy bear. Pui Pui. I'll put him with Kabito Kai. Pycon. Probably almost as cool as Chi-Chi. Piccolo. S tier. Just not sure where yet. Raccoon. One of the cooler Ginyu Force guys. This is the long-haired guy who's friends with Gohan during their Great Saiyaman stuff. I think this is another one of the other Kais. Same with this guy. They're like the North and South Kais. And they're there for like one episode. Evil Boo or Boo-Han or whatever you want to call him. He's the coolest version of Boo in a certain aspect of like villain Boo, you could say. Like he's way cooler than Kid Boo. But I mean Majin Buu, he's turning people into chocolate. He's just got a lot more character about him than the other versions. Shenron. I'll put him right below Pycon. Like Shenron's hard to quantify. He grants people's wishes, but we don't really understand that much about how the dragons exist. Which is cool, but this... Oh, it's Gohan. Gohan's got to be S. He just is always around. I think I'll put him above Krillin. I like Krillin more. But Gohan, I gotta put Gohan higher. Piccolo just below Roshi. Piccolo is awesome. He kind of takes up this like leadership role amongst the team, and he's always doing all this important stuff behind their back. The funniest thing is when they're in the tournament and he decides to have a code name. He's like, yeah, we should use code names. But literally they announce him for the tournament as Majunior, and Krillin and everyone else is like, who's Majunior? And then Piccolo explains to them like, yeah, like there's been people after us from this planet and from other planets. Maybe we should use code names in these tournaments, which is a great idea. Like just so extremely tactical and logical and a really good idea for everyone. But why didn't he tell them this beforehand? Like he could have told them this plan and he just didn't. Like that's so weird and funny. And then it doesn't even make all that much sense. Like you're a Namekian on Earth. People are gonna know who you are, right? Like you're a huge green guy, and you've been in these tournaments before. One of these tournaments you went under the name of Junior, so your code name is Majunior, and you didn't tell anybody else to use a code name. You're just insane. But yeah, Piccolo's great stuff. Tien. Some of these guys are hard to quantify because they did most of their stuff in the previous series. I don't want to keep it mostly to just the relevant to Dragon Ball Z specifically, where Tien has like cool moments here or there against the Cybermen, against Cell. He has this like mystery about him, like Mr. Popo does. I like Tien quite a bit. I think he deserves an almost Popo level. We'll go to Yamcha. Yamcha just keeps getting smoked, though, is the problem. He kind of just fades and becomes less and less a part of the group, even when him and Tien are kind of like standby guys, right? It's like Yamcha gave up being part of the team and he's like some professional baseball player, and like Tien's kind of the more serious. The more serious bench warmer than the more serious second line of dudes than Yamcha is. So Yamcha kind of fades. I think it's probably fair to put Yamcha he just isn't that interesting in Z. Like, I like him and I want him to be more utilized, but he's also just kind of there. I'll put him above Korin, but not much higher at all. Kid Trunks. I kind of like what they do with Kid Trunks, like in Super, but not really anything before then, other than like funny moments with Vegeta. It's very hard because we're introduced to Future Trunks first, who's really cool and has the like sword from Tapion and all this, so much interesting stuff about him. So it's easy to like transfer those feelings towards Kid Trunks because they're like the same dude, but they're also not. I'll put Kid Trunks just above Goten. I was gonna say Kid Goten, but just Goten. This alien guy, I remember being kind of cool, being all villainous. I'll put him top of C tier. Whis for some reason. Zarbon. Oh, where did I just place Zarbon? There he is. Cool Ginyu Force type guy. Him and Dodoria are like kind of above the Ginyu Force, but Dodoria actually gets some cool moments. Zarbon's just kind of there. Turtle. Turtle is, I guess I'll put him with the pets. I'll put him above the other pets. Don't know why. I almost want to put Chiaotzu and all of the pets up there, but that's just offensive. I'm not going to call Chiaotzu a pet. Why would you even suggest it? Just because he looks like a doll doesn't mean he's not a person. Have a heart, man. Have a heart. Fidel. Really cool moments in the tournament where she's just getting rocked. Definitely needed way more development. I think I'll put her here with Bulma's dad and Shenron. So many of these people just needed more time to cook. Yajirobe. Yajirobe's about Korin level. He's like Korin's goon, but that gives him the responsibility of actually doing stuff, actually reacting to what's going on, actually be in the story a little. Besides, hey, here's some sensu beans, man. The announcer for the World Martial Arts Tournament. I don't think I can put him in S tier. Part of me wants to. He's a great announcer. I think I'll put him around Yamcha. Above Yamcha. We'll go Whis. Whis is nice and cool and calm. And is basically like King Kai. Like, it kind of takes over King Kai's role. I don't think I can actually. I think I gotta put Hercule above Beerus. And I think I'll put Whis just below Beerus. Beerus just has more going on. We know more about him. He has this rivalry with Boo, this rivalry with Goku. He gets along with Vegeta. He gets along with Bulma. Like, his character just works so well. Whereas Whis is kind of like the, okay guys, let's get some actual training in. Let's actually do what we're supposed to. He's kind of like a henchman to Beerus. Vegeta, we all know where he's got to be. He's going to be an S tier. But we'll take a second to go through the list before we place him. At the bottom, we got the two guys from Hell. We got Cell Jr. Total just nothing characters. 17. Barely scraping it from not being F tier. And then we get into like some Kais. I want to place this alien dude higher. I think I will. Don't remember his name, but he is memorable. Put him above Chiaotzu. We have a whole bunch of underdeveloped characters like Bobbity, Cell. Like, isn't it incredibly bold that Cell like gives them 2 days to train? Which is just weird and so like We got a series of pets in top of B tier. A tier. We got a whole bunch of underutilized characters. I mean, you can't really say that for Guru. Guru gets his time to shine, but definitely need a lot more of all of these, including Yamcha. Then we got Majin Buu in his various forms. We got Frieza's big team of major employees. The Ginyu Force, Raditz, Nappa. The Saiyan Saga is pretty darn epic though, so maybe I will put Nappa and Raditz above some of these guys. Maybe above the entire Ginyu Force. Maybe I'll drop Gotenks. As much as I hype them up, I think I'll put them next to Majin Buu. Then we got Trunks, Tien, Popo, Oolong, 16, and Dr. Gero. Everybody loves Oolong. How do you not love Oolong? He deserves a top spot. And we have Whis, Beerus. They're not even in Dragon Ball Z. Don't know why they're part of this list, but I think they would rank about here anyways. They haven't really been around all that long, but they're really nice additions to the series. One of the best things, one of the top things that Dragon Ball Super does right is these guys, especially Beerus. We have Mr. Satan himself, King Kai, 18, Krillin, Gohan. Like Krillin and Gohan, it pretty much explains itself. Their stuff in the Frieza saga is so epic, and they continue to be key parts of the team. Frieza, best villain by far. And Frieza's right next to the other best villain that the series, in all versions, whether it be Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, or Dragon Ball Super, the best two villains that there has ever been are Piccolo and Frieza. Some people will say Vegeta. I disagree. Master Roshi, a lot of people's absolute favorite character, possibly my favorite character. But really, the show is a lot more about Goku and Bulma. They get to have a lot more moments where you get to see who they really are. Goku just has every possible moment, just becomes this god and becomes incredibly interesting. I still like Bulma more. There's a lot of Goku that is impossible to understand. Like how he gives Cell a senzu bean, how he says that he could have defeated Majin Buu when he was Super Saiyan 3, but he wanted Gohan to do it, which Gohan fails to do it. And that kind of leads to the world being destroyed and them barely being able to bring people back in time to deal with Boo. Like, everything could have been destroyed. Like, why would you make such bad decisions all the time, Goku? And we have Vegeta, who still needs to be placed. I think there's no question that he is top 6. He is simply a better character than Frieza. I don't know if he's a better character than Piccolo. No, I don't think that he is. He's definitely a more entertaining character. He has nothing but great moments. Like, everything Vegeta does is awesome. Definitely a lot more awesome than everything Piccolo does. But I don't think that carries him above Piccolo. Piccolo's a little more complex. They're kind of the same character, just that Piccolo's been around longer. Yeah, really hard to compare these two to each other, but I think where I have them placed is where they will lie. So we have number 6, Frieza, 5, Vegeta, 4, Piccolo, 3, Roshi, 2, Goku, number 1, Bulma. Bulma never gets the credit that she deserves. I mean, her character is the smartest person on the planet, the richest person on the planet. She's a member of the Z Fighters, a critical member, right? Like, so many times, her having access to, whether it be the Dragon Radar, the capsules, the time machine, she's always coming into play. She's always bringing solid character moments. She's always having to escape something crazy. And always ends up doing the right thing, even though it oftentimes goes against her nature. She has to Just like Goku has to step up and reach that next form, so does Bulma.